Hello, how you doing? You've got Zoe Kirk-Robinson here from Game Hammer, and I'm here today to talk about all of the PlayStation 2 games that came out in the UK, beginning with G, that I've managed to get into my enormous collection. So, let's get straight into it. So, we're starting with G1 Jockey, and to be honest with you, it's one of those weird games. It's a horse racing RPG hybrid. It's just weird. I don't like it. I have to admit, I don't like it. I just didn't get it. So let's move on quickly to G1 Jockey 3. No, I didn't miss number 2 out. They did. Well, mostly only here they did. There are copies of 2. It's just not released in the UK. Pretty much much of a muchness, with same as the first one. And similarly with G1 Jockey 4. So you've got 3 role-playing games about horse racing. Must have been popular, but I just don't get it. We move on to Gadget and the Gadgetinis, a very kid-oriented game. It's Fox Kids, Jetix, you know, the kind of cartoon stuff that's out and about there. Not a bad game. It's alright, it's decent enough, but it is aimed for children, so don't expect it to be too taxing if you play it. Then we have Gadget Racers, and this is one of the strangest games in my collection. Produced by Zoo Digital Publishing on behalf of Takara, who you may know better as the creators of the Transformers. Gadget Racers is part of this weird Takara car PG universe, and yes, I did say car PG. You play as a car, but it's sentient, and it's an RPG about cars. Yeah, it's weird. It kind of works as a game, but it is pretty weird. Next up we have Gaelic Games Football and Gaelic Games Football 2. This is Gaelic football, the Irish football. And get the second one if you really want to know about the game, especially if you get the DVD with it, because it explains the rules. If you're into Irish football, it kind of works. It's not bad. It's not a bad game. It can be quite fun to play. There's also Gaelic Games Hurling, and again, get the DVD to explain the rules. I don't get this one. It didn't click with me. I think it's because I just don't get it. But it seems to function well enough, so maybe it'll be for you. It wasn't really for me. It wasn't my thing. Then we have Garfield Standard, standard franchise license thing from this era, 3D-ish. It's not bad, but... And then we have Garfield 2. Again, standard 3D tie-in game. More based on the film this time. You might have noticed a comparison to the first one. It's not that bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. What is great, however, is Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Now, guys, you have to play this. It is so good. I put the game into my drive to test whether it worked or whether I needed to get it cleaned. And a couple of hours later, I thought, I better get on with some work. It's that kind of game. It just sucks you in straight away. It's a 3D version of Gauntlet, so if you've played Gauntlet Legends and all of that from the PlayStation 1 era, and I think it's on N64 as well, might not be, but that kind of era when it transitioned from the old style Gauntlet to the new 3D style, this is pretty much more of the same. It's brilliant. I really like it. Go and play it. Then we have Gauntlet 7 Sorrows. More of the same. Pretty damn good. Really, really like these games. Gauntlet, if you're into that sort of thing, you will adore these games. So what's up next? Next we have Genji, which I cannot remember a thing about. It's by one of the guys who created Onimusha, and yeah, it's a fighting game. It's a bit more like Onimusha, Devil May Cry, that kind of 3D fighter brawler. Not bad, I suppose. So yeah. Then we have George of the Jungle, and this is one of those that every time I see it, I think, oh my goodness, not that one again. It's just so boring. It's not a very good game. It's a 3D, very child-oriented 3D platformer climbing thing. I just don't like it, guys. I'm sorry. It feels an awful lot like Curious George, if you remember when we were going through C in this collection set, where the mechanics just didn't feel right, and it really stopped you from enjoying the game as a result. It's just another one of those types. But what is pretty good is the Getaway. Now, if you ever saw Grand Theft Auto 3 and thought, my goodness, I would prefer that to be far more gritty, far more like a Guy Ritchie film, and far more set in London where traffic will get everywhere and you will hardly be able to drive, then play the Getaway. I may not make it sound that good there, but wow, it's such a good game. I thoroughly enjoyed playing this. It's got some interesting mechanics in it, such as if you get hurt, you have to lean against a wall and get your breath back before you can go on a bit more. So yeah, been shot, don't worry. Just hold yourself up against a wall and breathe deeply a few times, and after a while you'll feel better and all of your bullet wounds will disappear. It's weird like that, but it kind of works. So yeah, thoroughly recommend the Getaway. And also the Getaway Black Monday, another great game, not quite as well received as its original one. It's got sequelitis, unfortunately. It's one there where it did go downhill a little bit, but still worth playing. Really enjoyed this series. Excellent games. Get them both, but definitely, if you're going to go for one or the other, go for the original. Next up we have Get On Dat Mic. Now, this is a karaoke game. It's a rap-based karaoke game. You will need a USB microphone. You cannot use SingStar microphones for this. You have to have the USB microphone. So it's just one of those things. But if you have one, it's not a bad game. It's very much karaoke. Quite good fun if you're into more urban karaoke. Then we have Ghostbusters, the video game. If you are expecting it to look and play the same as the Xbox 360 version, you will be disappointed. Or even the PS3 version, now think about it. You will be disappointed because this has a far more cartoony look to it, very much in the style of the Wii and the PS2 late era. The graphics are great, but they do not look all that realistic. It's gone for a more cartoony style, which suits the processor. They had to make some considerations for the fact that it's on reduced hardware, and it's just how it is. But it's still a brilliant game, a huge amount of fun. I thoroughly recommend getting this one. It's great to play. My only downside to this is they really should have considered using the license for the real Ghostbusters from the cartoon. If they're going to go for a cartoon style, they may as well have used the real Ghostbusters cartoon style, because that would have been amazing, and then I would have thoroughly enjoyed it. But it wasn't too bad. Ghost Hunter comes up next, and my goodness, if you like Ghostbusters and you finish Ghostbusters and you want more Ghostbusters, get Ghost Hunter. This basically takes the idea of the Ghostbusters from the films and the idea of Devil May Cry and slams them together into this magnificent, stylish ghost hunting game. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. Can't recommend it highly enough. So next up we have Ghost Master, the Gravendale Chronicles. Now, if you're thinking this might be a bit more like Ghostbusters or Ghost Hunter, you're mistaken. Have you ever seen The Haunting starring Ecto Kid or whatever it was on the Mega Drive? That weird one where you have to try and terrorize people? Yeah, Ghost Master. It's a new version of that. It's like Beetlejuice, trying to scare the hell out of people so that they'll leave you alone. It's brilliant. Thoroughly recommend this one, actually. It's a lot of fun to play. What isn't a lot of fun to play is Ghost Rider. I'm sorry, but it's another one of those tie-in games. Yeah. If you have a spare 10 minutes, give it a try. You might like it, but personally I found it a little bit too plodding. Then we have Giant Citizen Kabuto, and I don't really know what to say about this one. It's a bit weird. If you think Populous crossed with Dynasty Warriors, you've got a kind of idea of what this is. Some will like it, some won't. It's just one of those things. Give it a try if you get a chance. Next up we have Gift, and this is a budget action platformer. It's not bad. I was actually surprised because the cover does not make it look good, but I actually enjoyed it when I played it. Then we have Gladiator Sword of Vengeance. Yeah, it's a pretty good game actually. It's kind of an arena battler, and I had a lot of fun playing it. Give this one a try, definitely. If you ever thought the PlayStation can't possibly do a good tactical strategy game, kind of Command and Conquer, it wouldn't work with that sort of game, would it? A real-time strategy? Actually, it can. Goblin Commander is a real-time strategy with a lot of personality to it, and I actually really enjoy playing this one. It's not for everyone, I'll give you that, but for those of you who like that sort of thing, yeah, give it a try. Then we have Godai Elemental Force. which makes you think, from the look of it and the sound of it, that it might be a little bit like populous, like Giant Citizen Kabuto was. It's a brawler. It's an action brawler. A little bit, I want to say a bit like Dynasty Warriors, but with fewer people on screen. It's that kind of game. It's an action brawler. It's not bad. The Godfather, well, what can I say? It's trying to be like a more streamlined GTA. It's not bad, but it is a bit slow at the start. So if you're going to play this one, expect to have to play for a while before you really get into the meat of it. Then we have Go Diego Go Safari Rescue, another kid-themed game based on a TV show. It's kind of tie-in like that. Very linear, very streamlined, very young kids only. It's not that great. But I'll tell you what is great. God of War. Oh my goodness, do I need to explain this one? Action brawler. It's a brawler. It's a really, really good brawler. So good that there's a sequel. So yeah, God of War 2, great game. Give these two a try. Ooh, so good. Then we have Global Defense Force. Imagine Space Invaders Invasion Day done properly. This is a great run and gun shooter, and you just shoot a lot of aliens, and I really, really liked it. It was great fun. So if you've ever looked at something like Street Fighter and thought, I would prefer it if all of the combatants in this were so big they could actually destroy streets, let's say 100-foot tall Ryu, and gave him the ability to breathe fire and all kinds of stuff like that, then you would probably like Godzilla Saviour. This is a all-out rampage of monsters fighting each other. It's so much fun. Similar, Godzilla Unleashed, get involved, get in there, get smashing everything up. It's great fun. Lots of monsters to choose from. Absolutely wacky battles. Multiple monsters in the same fight. Lots of fun. Really, seriously, if you're into giant monsters having a fight, go for this. Golden Age of Racing is by Midas, and that's pretty much all you need to know. It's slow as hell. I wanted to like this because it's an older style of racing cars game. So you think, well, it's going to be a bit different to the other stuff that's been around. So it might be good, but no, it's just so slow. The control feels heavy. Nothing has enough sense of speed. It's just not a fun game. Then we have the Golden Compass. Now, video game tie-ins are not always brilliant. And video game tie-ins of not always brilliant films are not always brilliant more so. It is by Sega and by Shiny. You'd expect it would be alright, but I just couldn't get into it. I'm sorry. Then we have Remote Control Helicopter Go-Go Copter, which, oh my goodness, it's boring as hell. How do you take the idea of a remote-controlled helicopter and make it dull? Well, you put it on the PlayStation and you do it in a budget style. It's just... There's several of these on PlayStation, and I haven't found a single one of them that's worth playing. Then we have Go Go Golf, which is also by Midas. It's a golf game. It's not a very good golf game. It's worth passing up. But what isn't is Gottlieb Pinball Classics. Guys, if you like pinball, you need this game. I am serious. This is the most accurate and most fun, historic collection of real pinball tables that you will ever see. I love this game. I get it out and play it all the time. It is fantastic. Get this, it's so good. If you've seen the old classics like Pinball Dreams and Pinball Fantasies, well, imagine that they're even better. And now they're actual old pinball tables. So you've got stuff like Black Hole in here. Black Hole is amazing. It's 2 tables in one the first time that happened. And it's in this game. It's great. And a load of other ones as well. You go through the history of pinball from the old, really old proper pins and balls games to the more modern flippers and all kinds of games. It's amazing. You get a history lesson and you get pinball, and I love it, and I'm probably gushing over it. Get this game and play it. Seriously. It's pretty cheap too. Most of the time it's like 50p to a couple of quid. Get it. Also, we have Gradius. Gradius 3 and 4. Get this as well if you can find it for a decent price. 2 excellent side-scrolling shoot-'em-up games from the old arcades. These are amazing. 3 is my favourite out of the 2. 4 is great, I'll give it that. But 3 just has that... There's a certain something to 3 where it just feels like everything was right. I love this game. It's just wonderful. I'm a big fan of shoot 'em up games, but this one, oh, it's perfect. Then we have Grandia 2, which, yeah, I was surprised by this. It's an RPG. I was expecting more of an action game from the cover, but it's an RPG, and it's pretty damn good. Give it a try. Then we have Grand Prix Challenge, another racing game. Not a bad one, but to be honest with you, not a really memorable one. But what is memorable is Grand Theft Auto 3. This is the game that made me want a PlayStation 2. I am not kidding. I've said this multiple times that I was a PC gamer. I played Grand Theft Auto, and I played Grand Theft Auto London for the expansion, and I adored both of them. I was saying to my friends one day while we were out and about that the only reason I would move to any of the new consoles rather than a PC is if Grand Theft Auto 3 came out on the consoles and it was in 3D, because I don't think my PC could have handled that. And then we turned a corner in the shop that we were in having a chat, and on the stand was official PlayStation 2 magazine, Grand Theft Auto 3 coming soon. So I had to get a PlayStation just to play it, so I did. So PS2, Grand Theft Auto 3, love it, still love it now. Finally completed it years after starting to play it, and I didn't regret it. It was great. Then we have Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. This is a PlayStation 2 adaptation of the PSP game, I think it was, or maybe... Yeah, it would be the PSP, wouldn't it? Not the Vita came second, I can't remember. But the small handheld PlayStation, it had a couple of cut-down Grand Theft Autos, and then they ported the storylines into the engine from the PS2, called it the Stories games. Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Story. It takes place in Liberty City. It's really good fun. It's actually worth playing. It's a good, self-contained extra set of games. Then we have San Andreas. San Andreas is the most popular PlayStation 2 game of all time, and for very good reason. The story in this is excellent. All of the characters feel so real. It's just a brilliant, brilliant game. It doesn't look too great. I remember even at the time thinking, my goodness, this doesn't look very good. The graphic quality has been downgraded, and I think it's basically to reduce the amount of processing time and disk size that the graphics take up because of the amount of data that's on the disk. It is an amazing game, though. Once you get over the graphical downgrade compared to the other ones in the Grand Theft Auto series, you'll adore this one. Then we have Grand Theft Auto Vice City, the sadly often overlooked middle child of the three main PS2 Grand Theft Auto games. Liberty City was brilliant. San Andreas was brilliant. But the one that you can just drop into and adore right from the start because it just has so much style is Vice City. This game is great. It's bugged to hell. Go into it knowing that. It's possible to crash the game just by turning on the siren on the ice cream van. I'm not kidding. It is bugged to hell, but it has so much style, and it's so good and so much fun that you will want to finish it. The first of the 3D Grand Theft Autos from the original PlayStation run that I actually finished. Then we have Vice City Stories. So if you haven't got enough of Vice City, come and play this. It plays about the story of the brother of one of the sidekick characters from Vice City. So initially you feel like it's a kind of a tag-along extra, but then you get into the story, and my goodness, it is so deep. It's really, really good fun. Next up, we have Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. This is the game that came with my PlayStation 2. I got what was called the Fire Pack. So I got Gran Turismo 3 with the PS2. First thing I did was try and drive a Mini around the Nürburgring, and my goodness, it took an age, but it was so much fun. I adore this game. It's great. There's a lot of depth to it, so be aware there's a lot to this game. You will sink hundreds of hours into it if you really get into it. It is so good, though. Well worth it. Wasn't really as keen on Gran Turismo 4. I don't know why. There's just... Maybe it's because I liked and was so used to the third one that the fourth one felt different and therefore wrong in my mind. But it's still a good game. And also, it's one of those few ones that if you have the right kind of setup in your house, you can play it in HD. Then we have Gran Turismo 4 Prologue, which is kind of an apology for the full thing not coming out quicker. It's just GTA 4 but less. Similar with Gran Turismo Concept for 2002 Tokyo to Geneva. It's a cut-down version of GT3. Great Battles of Rome. The History Channel's Great Battles of Rome. What on earth is this, you might be asking yourself? Well, basically, it's a kind of tactical strategic Dynasty Warriors. It's hard to really explain it because I didn't gel with it all that well. I'll be honest with you, I didn't gel with it all that well. And as a result, I haven't played it a huge amount, so I can't really describe it in depth. But from what I remember playing it, it was like a tactical Dynasty Warriors. So if you're into that, go for it. Then we have the Great British Football Quiz. It's a budget title. It's just a set of quizzes about football. The Great Escape. Now this one is quite interesting. It's a tie-in video game for an old film. So yeah, it's got some first-person sniping bits. It's got some third-person action bits. It's got some riding for the scene where Steve McQueen is riding to the border and trying to get over the barbed wire. It's just a film tie-in game, but you wouldn't expect for a film that's that old. But it's here. Then we have Groove Rider Slot Car Racing. It's a budget racing game, only without a lot of the racing aspects because it's slot cars. It's alright. Grow Lancer Heritage of War. Another Japanese RPG. Yeah, it's not bad. GSurfers. Okay. Think of F-Zero, Wipeout, that kind of thing. It's one of those futuristic racing sci-fi things. It's not bad. And then we have another racer. Wow, GTC, Global Touring Challenge Africa. It's a racing game. It's a rally-style racing game. It's actually pretty good. Then we have Gran Turismo Racing GTR 400. It's by Midas. It's better than the slow one that we talked about earlier that I can't even remember the name of now. But even so, it's still not that great. I'm sorry. GT Races. How many of these racing games are there? Like I say, every single time I say this, if there's anything popular on PlayStation 2, we have a lot of them. We have far too many of them, in fact. This one, Oxygen, it's a budget racing game. Then we have Guilty Gear X. Oh my goodness, this is so good. If you're into your proper side-on 2D fighting games, you need this. It's got a huge amount of attitude to it. Absolutely love it. So much so that when I saw Keepsake Gear X2, I had to have it. Yeah, it's really, really good. Speaking of really, really good, how could I pass up the chance to get Guitar Hero, and Guitar Hero 2, and Guitar Hero 3, and Guitar Hero 5, and Guitar Hero Aerosmith, and Guitar Hero Greatest Hits, and Guitar Hero Metallica, and Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s, and Guitar Hero Van Halen, yeah, it did come out on PlayStation 2, and Guitar Hero World Tour, which is actually Guitar Hero 4. So many of them, but every single one is good, except for 3. Sorry guys, I just don't like the idea of turning some parts of the game into a boss battle where you can snap strings and do weird stuff to mess with the opponent and they'll mess with you. I just want to play music. Give me music to play. Don't start trying to faff about making boss battles and all kinds of game elements to a game that really doesn't need them. I prefer straight up Guitar Hero, and that's what I got with a lot of these games. I love to just pick up the guitar, strum a few chords, have a good time playing some music, pretending to be in a band. It's great fun. These games are amazing. My personal favourites are probably Guitar Hero 2, because wow, that selection of tracks. Guitar Hero Van Halen, because wow, that selection of tracks. And Guitar Hero Metallica, because wow, that selection of tracks. And you will have your personal favourites out of the set based on which music you like. It's one of those things. Everyone's got their favourites, and everyone's opinion is just as valid because we all like what we like in terms of music. So find one that's got the tracks that you want, give it a play, get some friends round once lockdown's over, have some fun. These are great party games. Then we have Gumball 3000. It's another racer. Yeah. Now, Gun is an often overlooked game, and it's a bit of a gem. It's basically Red Dead Revolver. It's a Western, it's an open world Western style game. It's a lot of fun, it's great. It just happens to not be Red Dead Revolver. Guncom, or Guncom 2, to be honest with you. Yeah, This is a light gun game. If you haven't got an old style TV, don't even bother, because the light gun won't work. It's not good enough. I have to admit, it really isn't good enough. It should be better. A lot of PlayStation 2 light gun games are great. This one just... I think it's the responsiveness or the setting. It's hard to put a finger on why I wasn't as keen on this one as I was to some of the others. It just didn't work for me, I'm sorry. Then we have Gunfighter 2, Revenge of Jesse James by Ubisoft and Rebellion. Now, Rebellion I have a lot of time for because, let's just put it this way. Judge Dredd. I really like Judge Dredd, Dredd vs. Death. I know a lot of people didn't, but I adored it. Played all the way through it, finished it on Xbox. It's great. This is not quite as good. It's a light gun game, and it's got a lot of style to it, but it didn't really sit as well with me as something like Time Crisis or Vampire Knight or something like that. But it's still worth giving a look if you have the time. Then we have Gungrave. Now, let's take Devil May Cry and make it insane and have... your weird character who you play as carry a rocket launcher disguised as a coffin on his back, and then go even crazier than that. This game is insane. Every time I saw my friend and housemate at university playing this, I laughed so much because it's just weird to watch. The guy has a coffin on his back and it shoots rockets. And what more do you need? It's just insane. And then the sequel came out, Gungrave Overdose. And it's not by the same people. And it has very little to do with the original game. And it seems to be based on the manga or the anime instead. And it's just weird. It's like... So, now it's turned into kind of Hellsing? It's not bad, but it's a bit of a difference from the first one. It's a bit jarring. Then we have Gungrave Blaze, which you can tell from the front cover. Well, it's a giant robot game. And, yeah, it's not bad. If you're into your games about giant robots having a fight and you want to pilot a mech for a while, yeah, go for this. It's pretty good. Not bad. Pretty good one to end this lineup on, in fact. So there you are. That's G for PlayStation. And there you go. It's a fair amount of games, but not quite as many as we've had in previous collection tours, because G wasn't quite as popular a starting letter for PlayStation 2. It's just one of those things. Just wait till we get to S. Oh my goodness, there's lots in that. But I hope you have enjoyed it anyway, and if you have, remember to click that like button, share it with your friends so that they'll know some good games when they see them, and also some bad ones that they want to avoid. And of course, subscribe for future videos, because there will be more in the future. But now all of the necessary YouTube gumph is over. I hope you're having a great day. Stay safe, stay cool, happy gaming. I'll see you next time. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Tepic, Sam Yates, and Retro Mickey 82. Thank you so much, guys.